What is Riley's strongest emotion? Is it sadness, anger, or maybe one of the new emotions we saw in the second installment? Let's explore the power levels of the emotions from Inside Out 2. Let's start with the weakest emotion of all, and I'm sure many of you thought it was fear. But that's not correct at all, friends. Actually, it's Inui, and as we all know, its name means boredom. This emotion isn't really gonna cause any harm or even scare anyone. Just look at it. It barely has the strength to go and microwave a Pop-Tart. Inui is quite lazy and uninterested. Everything bores her, and she even has her own sofa and phone to do her job while lying down. I don't think you can achieve much with this emotion, so Inui, in my opinion, is the weakest emotion in all of Inside Out. You can easily combat her by watching TikTok, playing a video game, or even watching videos from this channel. You should subscribe, my friend. Next up among the weakest emotions is embarrassment. Even though we see him as huge and imposing, it doesn't mean he's tough. It's quite the opposite, actually. He's a bit impulsive and clumsy, very shy, and finds it hard to talk to the other emotions. He also hides when something happens that he doesn't want to face or finds uncomfortable. Embarrassment definitely couldn't face anyone. Its insecurity only makes it look more fragile. In real life, how do we deal with embarrassment? Maybe you trip in front of your crush, and life goes on. All these characteristics place embarrassment in this spot. Let's continue with the character that probably everyone underestimated: fear. While we know that fear is one of the most limiting emotions, it can be helpful in some situations, so let's not underestimate its power. It can even save your life. As we know, fear's main task is to worry about almost everything to keep Riley safe. Fear is overly cautious, nervous, and very distrustful in assessing all the dangerous things. By being so insecure, I don't think it can do much compared to the other emotions, but it could save Riley from a bad decision. But if you think about it, it does have more power than the other emotions, enough to make Riley freeze in fear. It's better to be afraid of all spiders than to wait to see which one is poisonous. And for this reason, fear takes this spot. Now it's time to give sadness her place, the #1 emotion for internet memes. Maybe many of you are surprised that sadness is in this spot, but as one of the main emotions, it plays a big role. This emotion helps Riley get through tough times without being filled with resentment. Even though in Inside Out 1, Joey undervalued sadness' work, she later realized that sadness was just as important as the other emotions. Sadness' job isn't just to make Riley cry. After sadness comes happiness. And tell me, what would sunshine be without a little rain? But being an emotion full of melancholy and pessimism places it among the weaker emotions, while also making it a double-edged sword. Just think about it. What could someone who is very sad and depressed be capable of doing? Watch Netflix and eat ice cream, maybe? Leave in the comments where you would rank sadness. Next up is the worst partner you can find: anxiety. Although many think this emotion can be very helpful in some situations, the truth is, its objective could end up being a complete disaster, as anxiety is too strict and controlling. And for those who've been in a toxic relationship, you know how bad this is. Anxiety ranks here because compared to the other emotions, it can be a bit more reflective about what she's doing. But it remains weak due to its great flaw of wanting to control everything. She gets desperate when things don't go her way, and an emotion without control and with such power over Riley's decisions is always a great danger. Or tell me, what do you think? Next is Disgust. This pretentious emotion not only cares about looking good, but also is responsible for all feelings of contempt, judgment, and rebellion. Here we have a lethal combination. The main characteristics placing her in this spot are that she's the one of the most attentive emotions. She's very skeptical, so she wouldn't be easily fooled, and of course, she's very proud. She holds her principles in high regard and prioritizes her values, making her incapable of betraying her standards and fashion. You know what they say, rather dead than plain. Her confidence makes her one of the toughest and most powerful emotions in this video, but her habit of running away from problems limits her power. The next emotion is probably one of the cutest in Inside Out 2, and it's quite ironic that envy, being such a small character, is one of the most powerful. She is obsessed and admires anything pretty that she likes. But what makes her one of the most powerful emotions? Her perseverance and determination. Her greed and confidence make her capable of achieving anything she sets her mind to, no matter if it's bad things. You can't easily hurt her with words like you would a 5-year-old. Hey, your mama is ugly. This would simply fuel her thirst to become the best, or why not, the only one. Next up is one of the new emotions from Inside Out 2, and it's the sweet grandma called nostalgia. Though she seems like she's not a very powerful emotion, being just a simple granny compared to the other emotions, her power lies precisely in past memories. These can be as powerful as Riley wants them to be. Nostalgia on its own can't do much, but since there are memories and experiences involved, it can bind with any of the other emotions, making it very powerful. I'll give you a simple example. Suppose Riley remembers that her pet died. She would get sad and think about everything she could have done to prevent it, which would probably cause her anger and a lot of anxiety. If you ask me, this becomes quite harmful for Riley. Nostalgia can either destroy or empower Riley, which is why it ranks 4th. Now we're approaching to the top 3, and the 3rd place goes to the controlling Joy. We might think that Joy doesn't hide much power behind her beautiful smile, but I think the opposite. Joy is one of the emotions that causes the most euphoria, so sometimes things are not processed the best way, which could result in a problem for Riley. It's all about living the moment. YOLO! And this certainly has a lot of power over Riley, as it could also mix with excitement, and Riley would be completely dominated by her emotions. And of course, the same happens with the 2nd place, which goes to anger. This is one of Riley's most explosive emotions. Sometimes things can get quite dangerous and out of control. Anger's very personality tells us a lot about its power. Just look at his head. It spews fire when it gets mad. Add to that its impatience, rudeness, and quite a bit of resentment. Something like Squidward. All this, if not handled properly, can cause a lot of destruction for both Riley and her friends and family. Just imagine Riley playing a video game and losing. She's surely to destroy everything around her. And for all these reasons, anger takes 2nd place. Now we've reached the top spot, and you'll be surprised to know that the 1st place doesn't go to an emotion per se, but rather to a mix of many. In Inside Out 2, we discover that Riley hides a deep, dark secret. And even though it's not part of an emotion, this dark secret could mix almost all of Riley's emotions. This is something that has been tormenting Riley for who knows how long. So if you think about it, it carries emotions like fear, anxiety, embarrassment, anger, disgust, and possibly also sadness. So for all the strength it combines from all these emotions, Riley's deep dark secret takes the top spot. Even its appearance already says a lot about the damage it can cause. Leave your comments on which emotion you think is the most powerful.